tone setter. You realize this is going to be a very, very different take on the story. The echoey harp, the slow string buildup, the foggy visuals all create an element of mystery, while the violin screeches and pseudo-voice synth add a strange quirkiness. Oh man, those string runs, creating a feeling of soaring anticipation. I don't care that Danny Elfman pretty much uses the same thing for Alice's theme. Danny Elfman is always a win. And there's the creepy Tim Burton we love. Oh, that downbeat with the children's voices. What an entrance! Unapologetically dark and twisted. As soon as the machines are shown, the music becomes far more industrial with heavier percussion. Very well done. Unlike the Stewart version, this is not a realistic depiction of a chocolate factory. But this is definitely what a child would think a chocolate factory is like. Child imagination win. Also, even as a kid, this score made me laugh. Why is the music so dark and tense? It's just chocolate moving upwards. But what do we expect from Tim Burton? Wouldn't have it any other way. Also, dang it, now I'm really hungry for chocolate. Thanks a lot, movie. Plausible to implausible in an instant. This is probably how a child would think they air out the chocolate. Eh? I'll see myself out. Setting up the golden tickets. Love their sleek, perfect design. Also, the design of the Wonka bars. Very 50s, bright, simple, yet elegant and inviting. Any kid would love to purchase one of these. Tinted windows, so no one can see that the people driving are actually Oompa Loompas. Little details like that make the story a little more airtight. Freddie Highmore as Charlie Bucket. You look at this kid's face and it just oozes wonder and happiness. Great casting. Oh, this is so pretty. Just that soft, warm winter glow in industrial Britain, like something out of a Christmas card. Well done. Helena Bonham Carter in one of her more normal roles as Charlie's mother. Not complaining. Helena Bonham Carter is always a win. That door, just silent jokes in the set design. Quirky, yet a touch of realism. Also, including the dad this time. Adaptation win. The decrepit state of the Buckets house. Looks like it could fall apart at any moment, yet it still looks sincere, warm, and inviting. Like the Buckets themselves. Symbolism win. Also, apparently the Buckets house was also based off of Roald Dahl's famed writing shed. When Tim Burton decided that that would be the inspiration for the Buckets house, this was the moment that Lissy Dahl knew the movie would be in good hands, because it was apparently supposed to be like that. Great artists think alike, I guess. Mind meld win?
Don't suppose there's anything extra to put in. Oh well, nothing goes better with cabbage than cabbage.
Cooking lessons. Also, Charlie doing homework. While I will miss the teacher as he's one of my favorite characters from the Stewart version, it keeps the focus on Charlie and his family for this first part as we're getting to know the characters. Charlie's father works at a toothpaste factory. Irony and backstory win. Also, Charlie has hobbies. Fan's got a fan, am I right?
I saw Willy Wonka with my own 2 eyes. I used to work for him, you know.
Adding a personal connection between Grandpa Joe and the chocolate factory. This makes him being the one to go even more personal and fitting. I mean, the original Grandpa Joe was fun in a stubborn sense, but here it feels like he has a reason for being there and a reason why he knows so much about the factory. Such a small change, but one that adds so much.
I was a much younger man in those days.
For a while, I puzzled as to why they didn't go with this design for Willy Wonka. It still looks quirky, yet relatively normal, and didn't have the goofy haircut. But then you think about how he locked himself away for 15 years with no human contact. His fashion sense would go out the window. Reclusion does things to people. Realism win. The clear sky and bright lighting, symbolizing the bright and hopeful establishment of the factory. A far cry from the snowy and fog-covered factory of the present, symbolizing secrecy and darkness, and also implying something went horribly wrong. Symbolism and foreshadowing wins.
Grandpa, don't make it gross.
Yeah, you say that now. Also, not often we see older people kiss on screen. Love representation win. A pointless anecdote? Or a showcase straight out of the book of how big Willy Wonka's influence is? I think the latter.
The bricks were chocolate, and the cement holding them together was chocolate. All the walls and ceilings were made of chocolate as well.
Yeah. Stop it, movie!
Yeah, but it won't last long. You better start eating right now.
Oh, nonsense. I will not eat my palace. I intend to live in it.
Wanting to preserve art win. Also, wouldn't it be just like an affluent prince to not understand reality? Hinduism acknowledgement win. The palace melting immediately before things start going wrong for Willy Wonka. Symbolism win. Actually showing us the secrets getting stolen instead of only telling us. Show don't tell win. This video just got 20% more Britishly terrifying. All the little fonts that each of these businesses have, they look like actual candy shops, name choices aside.
I'm closing my chocolate factory forever. I'm sorry.
Oof, just how choked up he sounds during this.
Ah, yes, well, sometimes when grown-ups say forever, they mean a very long time.
Talking to kids in ways they'll understand. Parenting win.
The factory was back in business.
Did you get your job back?
No. No one did.
Oof, I think you could taste the crushed dreams here. Or that might just be the cabbage soup.
But then, who's running the machines?
Nobody knows, Charlie.
It certainly is a mystery.
Even after the fantastical elements are done, it still manages to build anticipation for the factory.
I'd give anything in the world just to go in one more time and see what's become of that amazing factory.
Man, doing such a good job not only making you want to see him go in, but making it so that he should go in from a story standpoint.
Nothing's impossible, Charlie.
Oh. Yeah, I know it's implied that she has dementia and it's played for laughs here, but I know people who have grandparents with dementia, and those moments of clarity that they have, their loved ones learn to treasure those, like here. Wholesomeness win. The music sounds a little sad, yet hopeful. Even though the buckets have nothing, they're still happy because they have each other. I saw this movie when I lived in Africa. Long story short, we can all learn from the buckets. Foreshadowing the Oompa Loompas' coordination and timing, plus the commitment to hiding their identities. The exaggerated caricatures of each locale. Yes, it plays on stereotypes, but it never comes across as offensive or racist. Again, it's more like what a child imagines each place to be like.
Boulder Dash. The kids are going to find the golden tickets are the ones who can afford to buy candy bars every day. Our Charlie gets only one a year. He doesn't have a chance.
Harsh realism. There's always that one guy who's got to tell it to you straight.
Everyone has a chance, Charlie.
Encouragement in the face of crushing reality win.
Mark my words. The kid who finds the first ticket will be fat, fat, fat.
That's what I love about Grandpa George. He's not very nice, but he's almost never wrong. Oh my gosh. Augustus Gloop's design was lifted straight out of the words of the book. The picture showed a 9-year-old boy who was so enormously fat he looked as though he'd been blown up with a powerful pump. Great flabby folds of fat bulged out from every part of his body, and his face was like a monstrous ball of dough with two small, greedy, currenty eyes peering out upon the world. Costume design win.
I'm eating the Wonka bar, and I taste something that is not chocolate.
The actor who plays Augustus is named Philip Vigretz, and he was a trooper. Not only did he wear a fat suit, not only did he have a fear of swimming that he powered through, but the boy didn't even speak English. This kid deserves all the wins.
Sprinkled. So I look and...
A wonderful joke that's totally in character for Augustus. He can't hide a ticket in a chocolate bar and not expect this to happen at least once.
Now that they found one, things will really get crazy.
Yeah, Grandma Georgina knows what's up. Oh heavens! I don't want to make fun of Julia Winters because she's a talented and nice actress, but gosh dang it does she look the part! Also, a Veruca whose voice isn't turned up to 11 24/7. That's a win for the relief on my ears. Another realism win. You're a miserable worker with bad pay and you've been shelling wrappers off candy bars for some rich guy's spoiled brat? I can't deny keeping the ticket wouldn't cross my mind.
Daddy, I want another pony.
Not even a thank you. Immediately I hate this kid. Hateable kid win?
I don't think that was really fair. She didn't find the ticket herself.
Establishing Charlie's morality. Also, ethics win.
Don't worry about it, Charlie. And no good ever comes from spoiling a child like that.
2 good life lessons from Grandpa Joe. Sometimes circumstances are beyond your control and you can't change them, and sometimes you just gotta let people's bad decisions ruin themselves. Passing on wisdom win.
Maybe you want to open your birthday present.
Oh, this family is so adorable! Especially the way they all crowd around Charlie in excitement.
Maybe I should wait till morning.
Like hell.
Grandpa George is my spirit animal.
Altogether, we're 381 years old. We don't wait.
Math win. Man, everyone's disappointment. Even Grandpa George, the curmudgeonly realist who said it wasn't going to happen, still looks crestfallen. Not even an "I told you so" from him, even in his expression.
We'll share it. It's my candy bar, and I'll do what I want with it.
This family's gonna kill me with kindness. You know what? Forget the chocolate. My glucose levels are gonna rise just by how sweet these guys are. Now, I've seen a lot of people make fun of this scene, but as a kid who grew up in a Christian home and saw this movie for the first time during a mission trip to Africa, I didn't see this as Jesus symbolism. It was just a kid doing something nice for the family that's so close and loves each other so much, that they share all their ups and downs, and I appreciate that being shown so unapologetically here. Also, the scene was in the book. The only thing that they changed was that in the book, everyone felt too guilty to eat their pieces. Here it's a little more realistic. They actually eat it, but they still recognize how precious this gift is and take tiny, deliberate bites. Realism and faithfulness win. Resourcefulness win. Everything you need to know about Violet in one scene. She's here to kick butt and chew bubblegum, and she's never out of gum. Violet, to me, always seemed like a character that didn't have much of an identity in the original story. If you squint a bit, she's someone who has bad manners and is only described as beastly. Well, leave it to Tim Burton to take a concept so vague and flesh it out to a hilarious and relevant degree. Missy Pyle playing a soccer mom. Mwah! Perfect casting. Also, Mike TV's update. I knew a lot of kids who got way too smart too fast due to access to better technology. They became resourceful and cunning, but very arrogant and developed stunted emotions. Update for modern audiences win.
Die! Die! Die!
I came here to have a good time and I'm feeling personally attacked.
I don't know. I hate chocolate.
Another realistic take on a modern, insufferable genius kid. Many times kids do these sorts of things not because they want to, they do it because they can. And because they can, therefore, they should.
Well, it's a good thing you're going to a chocolate factory, you ungrateful little
Protecting childhood innocence and silent ranting double win. I love how the rest of the family are so unfazed, like, yep, just another day.
Dad,
Yes, Charlie.
why aren't you at work?
Ooh, observant child win. And that single look from Mrs. Bucket, woof! Automation killing jobs. A huge talking point in politics right now. Harsh reality win. And a nice touch that something as grand scale as this golden ticket hunt would have lasting damage, other than morale.
Don't worry, Mr. Bucket. My luck will change.
Still in this together. Relationship goals win. Grandpa Joe, still trying to make a kid's dream come true. Don't stop believing!
Grandpa.
Old people. The dogs. People really underestimate the power of the unspoken joke. Tim Burton can do subtlety when he wants to. And, oof, learning that his dreams are shot. After hearing your father got laid off, that's just adding insult to injury. You can tell he's trying very hard to keep it together. It's a chocolate factory, it doesn't matter, but you can tell he wanted it so badly. And he didn't have to spell it out and yell at his mom and have her sing a mopey-dopey soliloquy. Sorry, just really not a fan of Cheer Up Charlie. Anyways, crushing childhood sadness depiction win. Just the way Charlie lights up as he picks up the dollar bill. That's more money than he's probably seen in his life. And like a normal kid, what's the first thing he does when he finds money on the ground? Buys something to make himself feel better. These signs in newspapers, hiding the reveal in the newspapers that's gonna happen in 5 seconds. Also, walks in the countryside Thursday evening, encouraging outgoing activities win. And ASL lessons win. Those rascally Russians. So easy to make a joke here. Thanks for that, Tim. And the look of disbelief on Charlie's face. No excitement, no smiles. Just his mind can't comprehend what he's seeing right there.
You found Wonka's last golden ticket. In my shop too.
Not only was this kid super lucky, but imagine the honor of being the one to sell the chocolate bar that contained the last golden ticket. That shop just got free advertisement for life. Realistic ecstasy win.
Listen, I'll buy it from you.
A more realistic response to someone finding the ticket right then and there. Seriously, with all the fuss they made in the original movie, kinda surprised no one tried to jump at the chance to take it from him when they were all singing his praises.
That's enough of that. Leave the kid alone.
Good guy shopkeeper!
Yippee!
I didn't even miss I got a golden ticket. That was just hilarious both in the book and here. Everyone's expressions and Grandpa Joe's complete lack of situational awareness just sell it.
Who is going with Charlie to the factory?
It's so weird seeing Helena Bonham Carter playing a calm voice of reason. Versatility.
I'll take him. You leave it to me.
How about you, dear?
Even the voice of reason gets a good zinger.
A woman offered me $500 for the ticket. I bet someone else would pay more. We need the money more than we need the chocolate.
Wholesome extortion win. And totally believable. If my family was on the brink of starvation, I'd do the exact same thing at that age. Kids do learn about sacrifice that young, or at least they should. Moving back to the bed, his happiness drained. That is an ouch symbolism win. And everyone's expressions. Yeah, they all sort of agree with this. They do need the money and cannot live on chocolate alone. At the same time, though, you can feel the sadness that their own child has become so world-weary in trying to make a grown-up decision. Just, ouch!
Only a dummy would give this up for something as common as money. Are you a dummy?
That was actually a really profound speech, and the fact that it was said by the grumpy character really seals the deal. Realist with the heart of gold win. And as the captain in Wall-E said,
I don't want to survive! I want to live!
What's better, just getting by in a sterile, cabbage-filled life or experiencing the very best life has to offer? Supportive parents win. I love Missy's expression here. Ugh, competition. Show don't tell win. The music here is just fantastic. The organ and chorus almost make you feel like you're entering a sacred cathedral. Oddly, that's kind of how the factory is designed. And it makes it so much of a mood whiplash when
Willy Wonka, the amazing chocolatier. Willy Wonka, everybody give a cheer.
I watched this movie like 50 times and this scene still gets me every time. Everyone's expressions as well. Some are confused and some are delighted. That was unnecessary, traumatizing, and another complete 180. And just beautiful! So sublime, so good! And ain't that some foreshadowing for what they're about to experience?
I was worried it was getting a little dodgy in the middle part, but then that finale, wow!
And a very unceremonious introduction for Willy Wonka. He just snuck into the line and everyone is totally caught off guard. In a similar way to how Gene Wilder's Wonka introduced himself as someone who couldn't fully be trusted, this Wonka is introduced as someone who surprises you at every corner and cares most about watching his own show. So yeah, elephant in the room. This Wonka is not as charming or elegant as Gene Wilder, but it's honestly a more realistic take given his backstory. If you lock yourself in a factory with only yourself, your madness, your misanthropy, and candy-obsessed little people for company, you're not going to turn out like a James Bond villain. You're going to turn out like...
Good morning, Starshine. The Earth says hello.
That. You're going to turn out like that. Also, you're not going to have a tan either. You're going to be pale like that. Also, look at Grandpa Joe's expression. It's very quick and subtle, but Wonka's behavior is surprising for him. It might be because he's got rose-tinted goggles on of his time working for Wonka, but I think it's more likely that Wonka's psyche changed due to his time locked up in the factory. Cue cards. This is the most realistic depiction of an introvert forced on the stage.
Then shouldn't you be up there?
Well, I couldn't very well watch the show from up there, now could I, little girl?
Can you blame him? If I put all that together, I'd want to see it myself.
Were you one of those despicable spies who every day tried to steal my life's work and sell it to those parasitic copycat candy-making cads?
No, sir.
And wonderful. Welcome back.
Yeah, you can tell the thievery really left him with some bruises. Also, maybe an indication that he feels a little bad for punishing everyone for some bad apples. It is a little weird that he's only going on Joe's word for that. Guess Joe had a reputation as an honest worker, and Willie knew he could ask up front about it.
Don't you want to know our names?
Can't imagine how it would matter.
A lot of people misinterpret this line. It's a double negative. He's messing with them. And that's kind of a theme throughout the whole factory stay. He's testing them with weirdness to see who's worthy.
Just drop your coats anywhere.
Yeah, a guy who doesn't have many visitors probably wouldn't be conscientious enough to make coat hangers. No human contact for a while, and we didn't see a lot of loving hugs from that future flashback. Plus, it's funny for us since we already know how terrible she is.
Mr. Wonka, I'm Violet Beauregard.
I don't care.
Oh yeah, he's already written her off as Loompa fodder.
I always thought a verruca was a type of wart you got on the bottom of your foot.
Checks out. A verruca is that very kind of wart. Biology lessons.
I love your chocolate.
I can see that.
Dang, Wonka's casting more shade than Augustus Shadow.
You're Mike TV. You're the little devil who cracked the system.
Oh yeah, you bet that Wonka would know the kid who pretty much cheated by name. And Wonka's flashbacks. Very realistic depiction. As someone who suffers from flashbacks, I really appreciate this. My wife, bless her, understands that I don't really have control over it and knows that I'm not intentionally ignoring her and asks me if I'm okay sharing them. Flashbacks and dementia. Mental health representation win.
Would you like some chocolate? Sure. Then you should have bought some.
Sure, overeating is one thing, but eating a lot isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's gluttony that's the problem. Taking more than you need for that fleeting satisfaction. Good job making us want this kid to die first.
Let's be friends. Best friends.
Wife has confirmed there are girl friendships like this. There are a lot of realism wins on this video. Huh. Also keep your enemies closer win. Optical illusions. People really underestimate the power of the unspoken joke. And this set, 90% of what you're seeing here is real. The grass, the trees, the river, the plants, all real. Also feels a little smaller than the previous version, more personal. Augustus' face, he's about to have a heart attack. He even drops his candy bar. He steps on the candy bar.
Everything in this room is eatable. Even I'm eatable. But that is called cannibalism, my dear children, and is in fact frowned upon in most societies.
One of the most quotable lines from the movie. Cultural studies win.
Enjoy.
Augustus just cracks me up. He's like a little kid at a candy shop. Oh. Also, Wonka's projecting daddy issues.
Because then I wouldn't be a champion. I'd be a loser, like you.
That's something I really appreciate about this version. The previous kids were just mildly annoying brats. You actually hate these kids, so when they get their comeuppance, there's less of an awkward, do they really deserve that? Then we get to the Oompa Loompas, all played by Deep Roy. This guy literally did the work of 10,000 men. All those Deep Roys you're seeing, he filmed for each individual shot. They could have filmed him once and green screened it all over the scene, but no, they went the extra mile. Cinema Magic win. Also, he told people he's not a great dancer, but he learned anyway. What a trooper.
Mr. Wonka, I teach high school geography, and I'm here to tell you...
Well, then you'll know all about it and know what a terrible country it is.
Wonka's not having any of your nonsense, Mr. Expert. He almost died. Also, high school geography? Wonka's right to dismiss you. Not many people appreciated this flashback because they prefer to keep Loompa Land in their imaginations. But really, it's another good example of show, don't tell. Robot Chicken of all places actually pointed this out, but for all we know, Wilder Wonka could have just been lying through his teeth and kidnapped all the Loompas. We get to see it happen instead of taking it at Wilder's word, who is an actor-described liar. Also good on Depp for toning down the confident swordplay from pirates. Versatility win.
I went to Loompa Land looking for exotic new flavors for candy.
They added a reason for him to be there. Such a great addition. And only in Wonka's twisted mind would this seem like a good idea, both being there and licking bug guts. Ugh. Even Willy Wonka knows that if you don't eat another culture's food, it's a great insult, and despite how disgusting it looks, he powers through it. Politeness win. Sign language joke win. Augustus falling in physically hurt Wonka. Priorities win. I love the way Augustus gets sucked into the tube. It's a lot more of a spectacle. And how do we compete with the earworm Oompa Loompa songs from the original? Actually take the lyrics from the book.
I do say that all seemed rather rehearsed.
Shit, he's onto me.
I wouldn't allow it. Can you imagine Augustus-flavored chocolate-coated gloop? Ew. No one would buy it.
Wonka gives no darns. There's a little bit of Gene Wilder in him. Wakanda forever! Wakanda forever? I'll see myself out.
Chewing gum is really gross. Chewing gum I hate the most.
We all know Wonka's BSing the song explanation at this point, but hey, he's selling it with confidence, and confidence is key.
Are the Oompa Loompas really joking, Grandpa?
Of course they're joking. That boy will be fine.
Protecting childhood innocence win. Makes me wonder how the Santa isn't real phase goes.
Chocolate contains a property that triggers the release of endorphins, gives one the feeling of being in love.
You don't say.
The look of absolute disgust on Wonka's face. Being proven right immediately win.
Try some of this, it'll do you good. You look starved to death.
Aw, see, he's not completely emotionally stunted, just a little off his rocker. Compassion win.
By the way, no other factory in the world.
You already said that.
Oh, I relate to that so hard. I accidentally tell people things twice because I forget I did and I make myself look dumb. Relatability win. And even after that, he tries to save face and...
I was never as short as you.
You were once.
Was not.
Makes himself look dumber. Relatability win. And Wonka backstory. To be honest, the book itself is really short, and this little addition was given a thumbs up by Lissy Dahl. Delving deeper win. Just this one image explains everything about Wonka. Also, Burton apparently had to do something similar as a child. Wow, explains a lot. Christopher Lee is always a win. Rest in peace.
Lollipops.
He says these candy names with such malice. I wonder what he'd be like during Easter. Jelly beans, marshmallow peeps, egg-shaped whoppers. Sorry, where was I? Oh, yeah, making the happy sound scary. Win?
But why take a chance?
Yep, there's Dracula. Yeah, this father obviously loves Willie and wants to take care of him, but smothers him. Loving parent attempt win. That dead look in Willie's eyes. That is not a happy child. Sympathy win.
Switch on the lights.
Oh man, this shot gives me vertigo every time. It feels like being on a roller coaster. Why is this not a roller coaster yet? And I know people love to death the nightmare tunnel from the original, but seeing that we just finished watching some of Wonka's childhood, which itself is kind of a nightmare, I'd say that balances it out.
Whipped cream.
Precisely.
Oh, I don't want to win animal abuse nor a pun, but gosh darn it, that is what a kid would think. Now I shudder to think about what he'd do with half and half. And the inventing room. Like what a child would imagine a mad scientist lab would look like.
These are everlasting gobstoppers. They're for children who are given very little allowance money.
Again, Wonka does have compassion. He's just weird about it. There are other candies in the book that didn't quite make the cut, like the spotty powder, which allows you to fake being okay, maybe not that one. In any case, this isn't much of a wise business decision, selling someone something that essentially never runs out. Sacrifice and compassion wins. And mom judgment. Violet's not getting into Wonka's good graces, and that's gonna cause her to try harder. Much harder. To her detriment.
Well, beatniks for one, folk singers and motorbike riders, you know, All those hip, jazzy, super cool, neat, keen, and groovy cats? It's in the fridge, Daddy-O. Are you hep to the jive? Can you dig what I'm laying down? I knew that you could. Slide me some skin. So, brother?
How do you do, fellow kids? Do you want to go skateboards? He's so out of touch and I love it. That sound effect was perfectly timed and you could totally blame the background for it. Well done.
This gum is a full 3-course dinner all by itself.
Why would anyone want that?
He really hoped that people would suspend their disbelief that he wasn't all prepared. Again, totally relatable.
I'd rather you didn't. There's still one or two things that are...
Yeah, even though Wonka knew this would happen, he still finds it grotesque and would prefer not to watch it, and he gave her more chances. Grace win. And Veruca seeing exactly where this is going. Yep, you're gone next, girl. Nice knowing you. Genre's having this win. And the transformation scene. They don't even try to hide how horrifying this is. We also got to see everything turn blue, including her irises. Also, the reason her clothes didn't rip is because the blueberry juice leaked onto them and affected them.
But I can't have a blueberry as a daughter. How is she supposed to compete?
You could put her in a county fair.
That is the best joke in the movie. Made even better by Wonka taking it 100% seriously. And this song, in my opinion, the second best Oompa Loompa song. It's got such a fun beat and great choreography. I love how it matches the background too. And a blue Oompa Loompa, likely post-juiced. Easter egg win.